A New York Knicks insider has revealed that a blockbuster move is coming for the New York Knicks in a massive update that has been revealed by James Edwards of The Athletic, linking the Knicks to multiple superstar talents at the NBA level while also mentioning surprising trade candidates in order for this move to happen. And we are going to break all of this down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. And guys, if you are part of that 63% that's not subscribed to Knicks Digest, this is the place to be for all New York Knicks news. We're having a bunch of fun on this channel, multiple videos every day. You guys do not want to miss out, but let's jump in to the video as always. Also, very quickly, thank you so much for 13,000 subscribers. Really means the world to me. I saw it last night that we hit that. Really made my day. Guys, motivated me to keep making content, so if you guys are enjoying it, make sure to subscribe. You guys have been killing it recently, but let's jump into the video because we have a lot to discuss on the New York Knicks as well. We thought the star hunting was over as we just shuffle through a few names here, right there. Couple NBA superstars, and well, Leon Rose, he's never done star hunting apparently, as Knicks insider James Edwards, who's very tapped into the New York Knicks, has revealed that he believes the Knicks to be big fish hunting. Now, taking a look at what Edwards said, he said, I get a sense that the Knicks are big fish hunting. Them missing out last year is how we got to Mikal and Karl-Anthony Towns. It is possible they packaged two guys together to get one. I do not think it is wise. Two biggest issues are depth and defense. And to trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo, you're gonna have to trade 2 or 3 players and match salaries. So, well, the Giannis rumors return. Giannis Antetokounmpo has been linked to the Knicks multiple times over the past few years since the Knicks have been good, and the Milwaukee Bucks have started to sputter and flame out at the same time. The first year the Knicks were back in the playoffs after the long drought was the year the Milwaukee Bucks won the NBA Finals. The Knicks got eliminated in 5 games by the Atlanta Hawks, something that Hawks fans still talk about because it's the only thing that they ever had going for them. So there is that, but on top of all that, ever since then, the Bucks have kind of slipped more and more each year. There's been injuries, now trades. The team looks a lot different from when they won the NBA Finals. Meanwhile, the New York Knicks have gotten better and better, and now they have this great team this year that's a 3rd seed and could very likely be playing the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round. Now, Giannis has been very open about the fact that he wants to stay loyal to the Bucks, but at the same time, has also spoken thoroughly on the fact that winning one NBA Finals isn't enough for him, and that he wants to be a multi-time champion, that he wants to continue to win. And if the Bucks cannot put a winning team around him, he is going to leave. It's one of the reasons why the Bucks traded for Damian Lillard. That came from Giannis. Giannis went full lead GM right there and said, you know what? I want Dame. Or I'm going to be fed up and I might ask for a trade. And the Milwaukee Bucks, knowing that they can't trade Giannis or everything falls apart, obviously, they traded for Damian Lillard. They traded a lot to get Damian Lillard. Obviously, Drew Holiday was part of that deal, but there was a lot of intricate pieces and first-round picks that has now really hampered the Milwaukee Bucks to where they don't have a ton of assets, and now this team they have has to work out, or they're just in a bad position. Now, the Bucks have some glaring issues. Perimeter defense is one of them. Now, their low-block defense is good. Brook Lopez is still a solid defender, even at 37 years old. Meanwhile, Giannis is an elite defender, one of the best in basketball. So there are those two guys, but outside of that, the defense kind of slips. I mean, Kyle Kuzma's a fine defender, and there's not really much going for them perimeter defense-wise, and now without Damian Lillard on the team, with him dealing with a blood clot in his leg, which could have ended his season as he's out indefinitely, things have gotten very strange for the Milwaukee Bucks, and Giannis is not immune to asking for a trade. There's a world where he decides to move on from here, and the Knicks are going to be one of the teams that he's interested in. Now, the last video I put out, and yeah, I know it's been a few trade videos, and we're going to move away from them. I have other videos scheduled as well, but the last video I put out, I discussed the fact that, well, Giannis, he is the #1 target for the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets want to use their draft picks to trade for Giannis because the Nets don't draft. They trade their draft picks. They always do. It doesn't matter who's the GM. They just keep trading their draft picks for star players. It's just how they vibe. And, well, it hasn't worked yet, and maybe with Giannis it does work. Maybe they'll have enough assets to go for a second player as well, or use free agency money to sign someone. We'll see how that goes, and I do very much expect the Nets to get either very close or actually succeed in trading for Giannis over the offseason, so it is going to be something that we have to keep an eye on. On top of that, it does depend a lot on what the Bucks want to do, though. If they want to rebuild, they'll take the Nets draft picks and they'll move on. If they want to, one of those is theirs as well, because the Knicks did own their pick, and then they traded to Brooklyn as part of that Mikal Bridges deal. However, that pick's not going to be too valuable, as the Bucks are a playoff team, so it is going to be somewhere in the 20s, probably early 20s. but still, not the greatest draft pick in the world. They'd want it back, though, just because. Now, where things stand with Giannis, it's very tough to imagine the Knicks pulling off a trade for him, because the trades they'd have to pull off, I don't think the Knicks are that interested in. I mean, you look at this deal right here where you move Karl-Anthony Towns, Pacome, and 2 firsts, which are both pick swaps because the Knicks don't really have a ton of assets. They can still swap out their picks, but they can't just trade them away fully because of the stipend rule. So where things go right now, the Knicks would be acquiring Giannis and trading away Karl-Anthony Towns and Pacome. There's been some chatter about the fact that there's a world where the Knicks traded for Towns, then are evidently going to use him to trade for Giannis later. Leon Rose will trade anyone very clearly outside of Jalen Brunson. As we've seen, he moved Dante to get Karl-Anthony Towns when it felt like Dante and the rest of the Nova Knicks were untouchable. So I do think there's a world where he's open to trading Towns. I also think there's a world where he's open to trading Mikal Bridges if he has to. Here's the thing. I don't really want to do this trade, if I'm being honest. Like, you're really getting rid of all your assets, and Karl's been great for the Knicks, and there's a world where you want to ride this out. I mean, the Knicks would also probably end up trading Mitchell Robinson in this deal to get a center who kind of fits with Giannis better, or just to move Giannis to the center position, which is something else that could happen. They could also, another more minor deal, and this, they probably would not be able to trade for Giannis and this guy, but there's also the idea of Jaren Jackson Jr., which is swirling a little bit, though I don't really expect the Grizzlies to trade Jaren because he is the one consistent piece of this team, and trading him would signify that things are kind of taking a wrong turn, and they might be gearing up to restart, so we'll see about that. But I don't love this trade. I'll show you guys another trade that I really don't like as well, which is this one. I don't like this trade at all. I'm not saying when I make these trade proposals, I'm not saying, well, this is what I want the Knicks to do. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this is what it would have to be financially. So there's a difference. So no one in the comments say, why would you want to trade OG Anunoby? I don't. I have no interest. Look, he's right above me right there. I don't want to trade OG Anunoby at all. I have no interest in that. I'm just saying these financially make sense for the trade to be legal. And I don't think they're going to do this, the Knicks, because I don't think they're trading their 2 best defenders in OG and Mitchell Robinson in the same deal. I really don't see them doing that. I think that's very stupid. I don't think the Knicks are a dumb franchise, so I don't really expect them to do that whatsoever. So just wanted to get that out of the way before anyone says anything that I want this deal to happen. But this deal also does financially make sense, that they'd be able to pull it off, and, well, they would get Giannis. Also, I don't think the Bucks want to do this deal, if I'm being honest, getting 2 pick swaps, OG and Mitch, for Giannis. I don't think they'll want to do it. I don't think the Knicks want to do it. I don't think anyone wants to do this trade. So I want to make that very clear. It's just what financially works, and it could, essentially, there could be a Giannis move that would happen. The Knicks would certainly be interested in doing it. They've made that very clear. It's just hard to imagine at this time. But he's not the only guy who the Knicks have been linked to, as the Knicks and Kevin Durant had mutual interest at February's trade deadline, and if the Knicks are big fish hunting, Kevin Durant's name is going to come around. I mean, the Knicks showed interest in him before, so there's definitely a world where they'll show interest in him again. And as Shams mentioned, at the NBA trade deadline, there was mutual interest between Kevin Durant and a few teams: the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Knicks, the Houston Rockets, the San Antonio Spurs, and Miami. Miami might be off the table right now, but maybe not. But as Shams said, I expect them to all be in the mix this offseason. How are the playoffs going to go? That's going to determine who feels like they're a Kevin Durant away from winning the NBA Finals. Here's the thing. I don't think the Knicks are going to end up in a situation where they think they're Kevin Durant away from winning the NBA Finals. If I'm being honest, I just don't expect the New York Knicks to say, oh, well, we lost in the second round to the Boston Celtics, which is kind of what I expect to happen. We lost in the second round to the Boston Celtics. 1-0 would have solved that problem. Kevin Durant. I really don't think so. Personally, I don't think that's going to be the glaring issue for the Knicks. I think the issue is going to be, well, our starters actually played well, and having Mitchell Robinson against the Celtics changed a lot, and having Mitchell Robinson and Karl-Anthony Towns on the floor together when Porzingis was the sole big man on the court for the Celtics clearly worked, because Porzingis is uncomfortable being the one big man on the court at a time. You could look at the Celtics net ratings and all that when he is the only big man. It's not very good, and the Knicks would be able to capitalize on that because you know their analytics department is well aware of that. So you look at where things are at. I think the Knicks are going to come down to, well, here's the issue. Our bench didn't perform well enough, and our starters burned out because Tibbs had to play them all 44 minutes a night because there were 7 guys. There was Deuce and Mitchell Robinson who were helpful off the bench. Everyone else got played off the court, so clearly that's the issue we have to fix. We have to get another great bench piece for this team. That is where I expect the New York Knicks to look as the offseason looms, because I don't really see the Knicks thinking, well, OG played great defense on Jason Tatum, and also OG Anunoby recently has learned that he's the greatest player in NBA history. Mikal Bridges did Mikal Bridges things. Jalen Brunson was Jalen Brunson. Josh Hart was solid. Now, obviously, some of this might not happen, but Karl-Anthony Towns was good. Everyone was good. The bench wasn't good. We need to make our bench stronger, or we're not going to be able to compete with teams like the Cavs and the Celtics who have good benches. First of all, the Knicks can compete with the Cavs anyway. I don't really care what anyone says. I do think the Knicks are good enough. They almost beat the Cavs with a pretty thin roster, and then they did fall apart, but I still don't believe in the Cavs, if I'm being honest. And maybe I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll happily admit to being wrong. I have no problem admitting to being wrong. I'm sitting here in front of a camera every single day of my life giving my opinions and takes on basketball. So sometimes, guess what? I'm gonna get stuff incorrect. So that's just the way of the world. But I just don't believe in the Cavs at all. I do think the Celtics are still the clear best team in the Eastern Conference. And I don't think the Knicks are gonna look deep inside and say, you know what, here's our problem. We don't have Kevin Durant. And I'm not trying to shade Kevin Durant and say he's not great. Of course he's great. Of course Kevin Durant's great. I just don't think that's where the Knicks' issues lie. And James Edwards said a similar thing. Now, Giannis, getting him would be awesome if they could figure out a way to do it. Putting up 30 points per game, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists. Giannis is one of the best players in basketball. Also shooting over 60% from the field and getting a steal and a block per game as one of the NBA's best defenders. Now, you look at Durant, who's also had a phenomenal season and has not really looked like he's 36 whatsoever, being an ageless wonder as well. 26 points per game, also 26 years old. 6 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 53% from the field and 43% from 3. KD's been great. And if the Knicks had to trade Karl-Anthony Towns for them, would it even be worth it? A guy who's putting up 24 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, 52 from the field, and 42 from 3. I'll tell you what, that's not worth trading for Kevin Durant, an often injured 36-year-old, when there's no Knick over the age of 30. There's one Knick who is 30. That's Josh Hart. And the Knicks have Kevin McCullough Jr., who they want to be the next Josh Hart, so they're already planning ahead. But guys, let me know what you think. Do you think the Knicks are going to pull off a blockbuster trade this offseason like James Edwards predicts? The Athletic is very tight with the Knicks, so he does know what's going on. I just don't think it's going to end up happening. I think the Knicks are going to aim towards their bench instead. But guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Knicks.